in Ghana. So we're here. This is the same apartment where the guys were rescued yesterday, the victims that were held here. Some of them, we hear they were kept since May, while the Nigerian boys who were taken over a month ago, and they were kept in this place. And usually, we came this morning to have a chat with the neighbors to find out how this place has been existing without no notification to the police, and they have not been aware that people were being held hostage in this place and fraudulent activities happening here. But, you know, their reaction was usually you'd find the house under lock and key like this. And even when you look inside, when we came yesterday, it was like this. And then inside we had another key that was locked. The serenity of the place quiet. You wouldn't suspect that there were people in this place. And you can find the surroundings are overgrown with grasses and within the compound. So you'll at least expect that there are people living here because it doesn't look habitable at all. The windows were closed. But for the communication we had established and the tracking we had established with the victims in there, we knew that there were people obviously in there. And so the police had to break this to get access to the compound, and then eventually we got access to the guys. If you look here on the floor, while all of that evacuation was happening yesterday, these were cigarettes, sticks of cigarettes that were taken away from one of the culprits who was arrested yesterday while he was trying to get on the truck. These were part of what was found in his pockets and his phone as well that was taken away. The neighbors around here are skeptical to comment on the matter because they wouldn't want to get involved or entangled with anything that seemed fraudulent. Few questions we had wanted to ask from the chairman of the Sasabi community. So this community is known as Sasabi, but they would rather stay quiet. However, I've got Kofi, who is a resident around here. He said that he's coming to the knowledge of what is now known to be the HQ. HQ is Hustle Kingdom, yes, HK. Kofi, you're saying that you're just hearing about HK, but you're familiar with their modus operandi. Can you tell us more?
Yeah. Actually, I'm a little familiar with, like what I know is that I know they put boys in the house. But with this, they make it so quiet that they will all be in the house and you won't even get to know. They lock them up in there and then without coming out. Like it has been hearsay, but I've never actually seen anything like that ever.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you were telling me a story about that of a lady whom you picked because you're an e-hailing cab driver, and you said it goes beyond the boys. It goes beyond holding these boys and subjecting them to nefarious activities. What have you got to say about the girls?
Well, that's very true. Actually, because of my work, the hailing ride, when you go around, you see a lot of things. You know, like on Sunday morning, just this Sunday, I was going to church, you know, where I church is a little further. So I set a destination through, and I got a request from someone. So when I got there, it was a little girl. So I was a little feverish because of how she was dressed. And looking at her, she was very, very young. If I'm not lying, she should be less than 15. She sat in the car, and I was driving, and we got to a traffic light, and she wanted to buy yogurt. You know, that was what got me curious, actually. She wanted to buy yogurt when the traffic actually moved. So I asked her, is it yogurt she wanted? She said, oh, yeah, she wanted to get some. I said, okay, but you know how but I realized she was hungry. So I even got her.
So what did you realize about her personality?
Well, the way she was dressed, it wasn't right at all. You know, I felt bad, and I was like, if this is my daughter or my sister, this won't be happening. So I asked her, like, where is she from? And she's coming from Nigeria. And I said, how long has she been in Ghana? She said, oh, just 2 weeks. So I asked her, so is she going to her family? You know, then she said, no, she's going to her boss. Like, with that, I couldn't say anything.
Yeah, so I'll just take it from here. Kofi actually picked up a commercial sex worker. She was a commercial sex worker, and she had just finished, running one of her, one of her clients, and then returning back to whom Kofi had come to know as her madam. And he's saying that some of these girls are trafficked from neighboring African countries and brought here to Accra, Ghana, and subjected to commercial sex works and 419, Yahoo, what we call in Nigeria in our local parlance, online fraud. And so Yeah, what we've also come to know is that these persons, some of them might not have been unaware of what they were coming for, while most of them were brought here in the guise of getting a job in a corporate organization before being subjected to the treatment they eventually get.
Well, Marshall, we saw a video of the mothers of the boys, really excited that their children have actually been found. So, how long will it take for them to reconnect with their sons?
Well, thanks to News Central, News Central has been able to bring the relatives of these boys that we were initially in contact with down here to Ghana to get them handed over by the police to these relatives and return them back to Nigeria. So we're hoping that today these parents who are currently in Accra, Ghana, would have access to the children, and then hopefully they return back home in Nigeria. One thing I must mention here is that yesterday the police noted that usually in this kind of cases, what you'd expect is the Welfare Commission from the Nigerian High Commission should take over the welfare and the reintegration of these children back to their family, or, they're expected to take that responsibility over. But what you'll find is whenever the police contacts the Welfare Commission, they would simply decline to cooperate with the police on this. So you would find people who are rescued and then abandoned on the streets because the police are handicapped. Like yesterday, we had the police take these children to the hospital and they got treated. All the bills were paid by the police. They also provided feeding for them as well and shelter. And then this morning, we heard that they've also been fed by the Ghanaian police.
All right, Marshall, just before we let you go, when can we expect more updates on the investigative process?
Hopefully, what we're hearing is, all things being equal, the process of taking the culprit to court should be concluded today, and hopefully he is arraigned tomorrow in court. And then investigations will still continue until the last man is brought to book. The investigation will remain open. As far as reintegration of the victims to their family, I would expect that to be done today, at the very latest tomorrow. And then, like I said, arraignment in court of the culprit tomorrow as well.
All right. Well, this points to a larger human trafficking and, cyber crime ring. And we hope that, there are plans for a joint operation between Nigeria and Ghana, to review cross-border kidnappings and also criminality and criminal offenses. Thank you so much, Marshall, for that update. Thank you.